I attended a forum on employment recently. A young girl asked the question. A recent survey stated that 1 in 2 graduates from private universities are not able to find a job after 6 months. A few of my friends are worried about their job prospects. What can be done to help them? The panelists were not able to give a convincing answer. I wish to give my views on this issue. My message to these graduates is not encouraging. I want to be honest about it. The prospects of getting a good job that pay well will be bleak. Why? There are too many graduates chasing after the limited number of job opportunities. What has happened? The economy creates various types of jobs. There will be a good demand for nurses, public transport workers, police officers, technicians, and service workers. But Singaporeans do not like these jobs because of the low pay and unpleasant working conditions. These jobs are taken by foreign workers. Our graduates prefer office jobs that pay well, especially jobs in the civil service and in the large companies. But these job openings are not sufficient to meet the large supply of graduates. These employers naturally prefer to recruit the better graduates who are perceived to come from the publicly funded universities. Graduates from the private universities and from overseas universities have a lower chance of getting these jobs. Some of these private graduates decided to take up a sales or marketing job. There will always be demand for these people. I encourage them to try these jobs because there is a demand. However, I wish to add a word of caution. Some of these sales jobs require the salesperson to sell questionable products, such as investment scams. The salesperson do not realize that it is a scam. They sell the products to their friends and family members. It can cause a lot of damage. Some of the investment products sold by the banks or insurance companies are also questionable. However, the salesperson is pressured to meet the sales quota to justify their high pay. I encourage young people to try out these sales jobs and sell products that are good for customers. They will get useful skills and experience for the future. But if you are going to be in sales, do you need to get a degree? Surely the 3 or 4 years spent to get a degree could be better used to get the work experience. An employer made this observation. She interviewed young male Singaporeans who are 25 years old and have no working experience. He has to compete with foreigners of the same age who have similar qualifications and a few years of work experience. She decided, the employer, to employ the foreigner. This is a serious problem for our young men who has lost about 3 years of working experience due to national service. This is the actual time spent in NS and the waiting time between. The same remark can be made for people who spend 3 to 4 years getting a degree that is not relevant to the job that they finally take up. This time is at the expense of getting relevant work experience. I've seen many young people who graduated from Polytechnic and proceed to get a degree. I felt that they are making a mistake. They should go out and get the work experience which they are trained in the Polytechnic. Why do most young people want to get a degree? They say that a degree is needed for a job in the civil service and the large companies. This is true, but these jobs are likely to go to the graduates with good results from the publicly funded universities. I like to give this advice to young people. If you are academically good and can get admitted into a publicly funded university in Singapore, go ahead and get your degree. If you cannot get a place in the publicly funded university, it is better to come out to work in the field that you are trained for when you attended Polytechnic or vocational institute. Get the work experience. Do not spend the time pursuing a degree at the expense of work experience. I wish to make this call to the government. Improve the salaries and work conditions for the jobs that are needed in the economy, such as nurses, public transport workers, police officers, technicians. Make it attractive for our young people to take up these jobs. This was the case many decades ago. Reserve all jobs in the public sector for our citizens. They include the jobs in the civil service, government-owned companies, hospitals, and the airport. Increase the salaries to a level that will attract our citizens to take up these jobs. Make it attractive for private sector employers to employ citizens. Impose a levy for foreign workers, including the employment pass holders, and give a wage subsidy to employers to employ citizens. Reduce the time spent on full-time national service and reservist duties. We can have a credible defense force without imposing such a heavy burden on our young men and put them at a disadvantage in competing for jobs. We have to address the worry of our young people in getting a job that can pay an adequate salary to meet the cost of living in Singapore. If you agree with my views, please help to share it with your friends. Thank you.